the end of the presentations. Good morning. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you, Aapresid, for having invited me to be the moderator of this panel. I will make a very brief introduction. First of all, why are we having this panel? It's related to the development of bioeconomy in the regions of Argentina that are beyond the Pampas, because economics is related to bioeconomics is related to using the biological assets, add value to the value chains, create networks among the value chains, networks to increase the technological development, create high-quality jobs. So it's in this convergence where we will see the big changes. Another pillar of bioeconomy is the development of new products, products that replace products made with where the raw material is oil, and also provide new services. And here, knowledge plays a key role. So the role of science and technology is key. Why? Because it's very complex and very important to know about all the processes of the living beings' metabolism to make the most out of them, to get the best products. And the role of the science and technology organizations in our country is key for many reasons. When I mean science and technology organizations, I mean INTA, and public and private universities, because especially the public research investigations, because they spread the country. There is a federal approach here to create knowledge and transfer that knowledge to the productive sector. So the research should get to the farmers, producers. Another important element is adding value at the source, because transporting raw biomass is very expensive. The freight costs are very high. This produces environmental damage because of CO2 emissions of the fuel, or because other pollutants are produced, and also because of our wide network of roads in Argentina, especially because the biomass would have been transported along huge distances. And because of all these reasons, we have problems in the regions. And I'm going to introduce 4 companies from 4 different regions. They are companies of different sizes, but all of them are at the top of the adding value pyramid that starts with biomass, biofuels, food, feedstock, etc. These companies are at the area where more value is added, the area in the pyramid. So they have lots of innovation, and they all export and bring in hard currency for the country, and they also represent something an area where we still have a long way to go, the development of biorefineries. Biorefining is very important, looking at each component in the biomass to get useful products. And without further ado, let's start with Patagonia, with Tamara Rubilar from Erisea. Tamara, the floor is yours. Thank you very much, Pablo, for inviting me to be part of this panel. Thank you to the audience. I don't know if you can read my presentation. I'm Tamara Rubilar. I'm a CONICET researcher at CEMPAT in Puerto Madryn, and I'm a researcher at the San Juan Bosco University in Patagonia. I'm the founder of the first technology-based company set up in Patagonia, which is called Erisea. And I will tell you how we created this technology-based company that is developing solutions for global problems. We do the following. We add value. We do aquaculture. That is, we rear sea animals, sea urchins. We have biotechnology, and we get these sea urchins to include some very valuable elements in their eggs. So we develop biotechnology free from animal cruelty and also industrial elements to develop and to get these antioxidants and to use them with green technologies. We don't use organic solvents and we don't produce any waste. We live in Patagonia, and if we had decided to go for solvents such as silence or ketones or toluenes, which are used in our research, we would have had a serious issue with the final disposal. So we spent a lot of time researching to be able to carry out our process without using solvents. So in an easy way, we started working in the area of bioeconomics and have an industry which is waste-free. We rear the animals without using hormones or antibiotics. So we use an animal welfare protocol, and on the other hand, we add a lot of value to the product. We are sustainable, and we produce dietary supplements for human health, and they are already in the market. They have been authorized by UNMAT, and they provide many benefits for human health. Our value proposal includes IP, principles of circular economy. We are working in implementing the Nagoya Protocol because we work with a species that wasn't considered a species of economic value. We already have validated our proof of concept. Our facility has been accepted by the FDA, and we already have quality management systems in place. These are our verticals. We admix. We do aquaculture, but we also work in the health industry. And our technology is fully scalable. In order to get these antioxidants, we should kill a fish and kill 1.5 million sea urchins to get 3,400,000 doses. And by growing them in our cages, we can get the same number of doses every 6 months. Right now we have 6,000 sea urchins, and we may generate lots of doses. And our goal is to make a contribution to global health. The pandemic changed our focus. Early on, we wanted to develop these supplements for animals so that in the fishing industry and aquaculture industry, fewer antibiotics could be used. But when the pandemic arrived, we switched and we started to work with a focus on human health. That's why we have a holistic approach, which is called One Health. So where we consider animal, human, and environmental health. We just produce 1 container of waste once a year, and most of that waste is packaging from the inputs we buy. The water, when it can't be used in aquaculture any longer, we use it to grow micro weeds. And everything we use in the process becomes part of an input for the following one. As we are a very young company, we were privileged. We were able to design our processes from scratch. Of course, we had to overcome lots of regulatory obstacles. This was one of the biggest issues because sea urchins in Argentina are not considered food. So we had to get the Codex Alimentaris changed in Argentina, and we had to overcome several barriers because nobody knew where to place us. Finally, everybody is regulating us. And eventually, our facility was approved by the FDA. We created our own brand because we go from aquaculture to the end consumer. We have the whole value chain. Our products are called ProMarine antioxidants, and we launched our products in August 2022, developing a pilot, validating prices, and trying to see if anybody was interested in buying our products. And long COVID came up. Colleagues from Santoshani, Ramos Mejia, and Maurice Hospital came to see us to carry out a trial. We carried out the trial in the 3 hospitals using one of our supplements to reduce the effects of the long COVID on human health. The results were clear. I'm really proud to say that I shared this in Harvard. It was a very important time for me, and this product has been approved by ANMAT, and we will do the first export soon. The product was launched a short time ago. This is a global market that is growing very fast, and one of the issues in this market is that there are limited regulations all over the world. In Instagram, you receive information about many products that are good for many different health issues, and the idea is to set us apart from those who sell products that are not certified, validated, etc. But as you can see, the market is growing quickly. Our international business model is B2B. We work with distributors abroad, and in Argentina, we are working with B2C through our cloud facility, but we also sell to pharmacies and distributors all over the country. We already have had some business contacts in the U.S. Our products are sold on Amazon. We are also working with Norway and China. We want our technology is scalable so that it can be applied and developed elsewhere. Patagonia is not the only place where you can use our technology. This technology could be replicated elsewhere. Next steps, we want to increase the amount of investments done now that we have reached the tipping point, the break-even point. We want to to invest in our company once again, all our earnings, and grow.
They are very sophisticated products. You have brought a sample. I understand that you produce food for sea urchins, right? Yes, that was one of the technology challenges. We have founded an industry. The aquaculture industry does not exist as such in the world. The scientific research pilots only, and anyone rearing animals knows that they have to be fed. There was no such foods, so we developed our own. And one of the elements is the waste from the prawn industry, and also an invasive algae that is being used. I understand that on Daria, this algae is eatable. And from Sempat, the institute where it comes from, they have developed a company that is selling them as a Hono product. And how from a threat, which is a reality. I mean, this algae was invasive. It came to our shores with Japanese fishing vessels. Well, how it contributed to developing the country. Thanks very much, Tamara. And we invite you to ask questions at the end. Now it is the turn of the Vinsa. Biomass is produced to obtain a product. But as Tamara said, there are other processes that generate wastes, and those wastes need to be used. Roland. He's responsible for Terminsa wine derivatives company. It's located in the outskirts of Mendoza City, and I had the opportunity of visiting them a while ago, and I was impressed by the extent of their work. Roland? Well, I brought a picture of ours to share the presentation. If anyone from the technical area can help me, it was a movie. There we go. Thanks. Otherwise, it's boring. Well, I come from the province of Mendoza. Cuyo, San Juan, Mendoza are three of the most important wine-producing areas in the world. We rank 5th or 7th, depending on harvesting each year. It is an ecosystem whereby around 3% of the surface can be used for production. We are on a desert. It's an ecosystem that is delicate. And what we do at Dervinsa, as Pablo said, is a biorefinery. A biorefinery where we treat wine byproducts. It's a company that will be very proud. What we do is take what is spared from other industries and from that create value. It is a company that is 87 years old. It came to Argentina from British technology. It's gone through different owners, changing employees, but the company still does the same. And it is a kind of company where all eyes are set on us. We can build value from what other industries generate as wastes. Today, 89% of the grapes are used either for winemaking, for juice, making products that have to do with this. And the other 11% is waste. The skin, the seeds, are, and then once you filter wine for clarification purposes, everything that is left, and from there you can use tartaric acid, a natural acidifier that is reused in the wine and also maybe used for soft drink or cookie making and for the construction industry as well. It is the most natural way to change a product's pH. Also, we manufacture alcohols. From Mendoza, we manufacture alcohol that is exported mainly to Europe and then bottled in a $100 cognac bottle. We compete against #1 in the world. And lastly, grape seed oil. Even though it's not that used for eatable purposes here, it has certain properties that are sought after in other countries. It's a small market, 35,000 tons a year. It is very little invasive, so it is very much used for sauce making in the States where the oil will not change the flavor. Also, we produce energy. Once we have obtained all the value from the pomace, we make compost, and that compost, the part that contains the most nitrogen and carbon, is used for making compost that will be then used for soil nutrition purposes. Let me tell you what we do. Some concepts are different in our industry, and we need the industry to do well for us to do well. We are in an environment that is full collaborative. There will be no reason for us to exist unless there were a winemaking industry. So we have to be the first to add value to the winemaking chain. How do we do that? Well, we close the loop in the winemaking industry, and by creating sub-products, we have to be a part of the winemaking industry. When someone sells a wine bottle in England and asked about waste, they will say, well, we have a partner with which we manufacture tartaric acid, etc. That's the concept underlying our work, collaborative effort. The story for us to tell is the story of an industry, not just of a company. At present, we are making progress with the production of other byproducts. The Kosche region is one of the major garlic producers, as well as tomato producers. And by positioning ourselves as a company that derives value from other companies' byproducts, our phone never stopped ringing. Argentina is filled with second-generation biomass, which hasn't found its final destination. So we started receiving nuts, potato, a number of byproducts that were being wasted by other industries. And there was the potential to create value from that. This is something to take into account. We have tried to go that way. We're a small company. We have made a conscious decision to try and relate to and articulate with universities, research institutes, all the science available in Argentina, so that our asset, which is bringing all this together, make it available to science to create value. And any waste, I mean, whatever it is, we receive it. And the first thing we can do is sort of do it in a staggered manner. First, I burn it, generate biomass. We might just stay with that. But when you incorporate science and other wisdom, these products go up a ladder and become, say, for example, compost, animal feed, human food. We have found solutions for certain oil industry problems thanks to our byproducts. So we have to be generous. We have to open up your challenges, invite others to participate, to face those challenges. You enlarge the pie exponentially. Let me close by sharing a case in point which I think is worth mentioning. There were two companies engaging in gathering pumice. We bring together pumice from Salta to Rio Negro. We are the only company doing that. There was a second company engaging in the same activity and just separated seeds to make grapeseed oil. They were close to us. We talked to them, and they said they thought that we wanted to sort of concentrate all the pumice. But we said, okay, you need the seeds. How many seeds do you process a year? 3,600 tons. So I'm going to deliver 4,000 tons to you. But let me first remove the alcohol, the tartaric acid. Let me process the other parts before you use the seed, which is where you add value. By doing so, we managed those byproducts to express the largest potential. The pie grew, and by growing last year, which was the worst year in the winemaking industry in history, in a 60-year history, last year was the worst in terms of harvesting, but the best year for that company and Vinza. For both of us, it was the best year against a very negative backdrop, just by working differently, sitting at the same side of the table about how to grow the pie. If we are capable of thinking how we grow the pie, then that's where we add value. Thank you.
Gracias, Roland. Una preguntita. Danos una idea.
Please tell us about the size of the biomass you are processing, because here I was greatly impressed with what you have said, and I would like you to share this with the audience. Whenever I start talking, I end up talking about a different subject matter or something different. We process about 200,000 tons of byproduct a year, which is the size of a soccer field, 12 to 15 meters high of pumice. During the grape harvesting time, this is the amount of pumice produced. We need 100 trucks of pumice to produce 1 truck full of tartaric acid. So this is a logistics challenge, how to organize the movement of all these goods so as not to destroy any value and not to increase the carbon footprint. We produce about 3,000 tons of finished product starting with 200,000 tons of raw materials. And so we get the premium products, which are at the top of the pyramid. And after that, with what is left, you may make compost and energy. Nothing leaves our company as waste. Everything that comes into a company, we turn it into something else. Yes, because the main, besides tartaric acid, you produce seed oil, and you are also developing new products. Tell us about that, please. Today, well, we launched 20 products working with universities, INTA, INTI. Out of those 26 are making it to the end of the pipeline before the end of the year. When I take all the tartar elements and all the alcohol from the pumice, we get water in the end. This water was very saline. It cannot be used for irrigation. So the University of Patagonia, said in order to concentrate that water out of the 0.5% of potassium that it had eventually, the amount increased to 5%. So this water became a fertilizer. So something that was a pollutant turned into a fertilizer. So we are also involved in energy-related projects, bio-leather. There are several ways of making leather with pumice. We have people working in gasification, in producing gases that could be used by gasifying the biomass once all the wealth has been extracted, using a solar system that concentrates the energy. This is being done by somebody at CONICET. What is our challenge? In the midterm, the areas that are further away from where we have our facility will have to find a solution for those byproducts so that they won't have to be transported from Salta to Mendoza. We will have to find a way of setting up micro facilities to process the raw materials on site. So we want to make meal out of pumice or energy out of pumice so that the biomass doesn't have to be carried all through Argentina. You mentioned several important things. One of them is the circularity, because there is no waste. And a large number of products you are getting, even plaster and some gypsy, because your processes are quite energy efficient. And energy efficiency is an important limiting factor for other things that are happening in Argentina. And you also mentioned the cooperation, partnership, that is the relationship you develop with your customers, and the logistics issue is very important. We have to be very efficient, because carrying biomass from one place to another is expensive, it's not good for the biomass itself. So we have to improve the process here. Thank you. And if you go to Mendoza, visit the company, you won't regret it, because I really was overwhelmed when I saw those large amounts of pumice with a purple color, and sometimes you could even smell it. I was really overwhelmed. And again, talking about using biomass, we will now give the floor to the representative of a cooperative, COTA, from Tucumán. Besides producing lemon, they also create product with added value for the whole chain, and they also create jobs, and there is a hard foreign income coming to Argentina as a result of their work. I will tell you what we do, and I also describe an added value project we are carrying out together with Obispo Colombres experimental unit or station. For those who don't know the lemon industry in Argentina produces 1.5 million tons of lemon a year. 1.2 million tons are processed, 200,000 tons are exported as fresh fruit, and 100,000 tons go to the domestic market. The northwest of Argentina produces 95% of the lemon harvested in Argentina, and Tucumán ranks first. Lemons are planted in a wet area where there are more rainfalls, and it's also an area where there are no frosts. We grow them at the foot of the hill. COTA is a cooperative. We process lemon. Tucumán is the hub that is the largest lemon byproducts producer in the world. COTA was created because of the need of some farmers who had to change or switch their crops after a pest which destroyed the sweet citrus fruit orchards. So the farmers bought a piece of land, set up some greenhouses, and began to plant new varieties. In 1971, the industry began to grow. In 1974, the first industrial process took place. At COTA, we produce essential lemon oil, juice, dehydrated lemon peel, and other essences. Our products are exported, 90% is exported to many countries in the world. You can see this on the map. These are some pictures of our facility. Talking about cooperation, we have a policy that says that we provide services to our members. We receive their fruit, we give them advice on legal agricultural issues, certifications. We help them with the greenhouses, we give them seedlings. We also provide services to the community, especially in Tafí Viejo, where our facility is located. We are committed to the environment. We participate in industrial conversion facility. We work on energy efficiency, and we are participating in a project related to carbon footprint measurement. And now I'm going to talk about research and innovation. We export to many countries in the world, but we also look at the needs of our customers. They are quite related to sustainability. In the last few years, we were able to produce some kinds of juice with specific features. We improved some parameters in essential oil. We improved the production of dehydrated peel to produce pectines, and we are now producing our own liquid pectine. And we are working with the experimental station to produce natural citric acid coming from lemon juice. This is the pectine process. Pectine is a plant compound present in most of the plants, and it keeps the cells that make up the cell walls together. Lemon is one of the best sources to get high-quality pectine. So in the 90s, some pectine companies from different countries decided to work with the citrus fruit industry, so they would set up drying facilities to produce dehydrated citrus fruit peels that could be used to produce pectine. In order to produce pectine, large investments are needed, and for some years now, because of the large amount of peel produced by Tucumán, there have been discussions about setting up a pectine-producing company. Because of the political and economic issues in Argentina, none of the companies buying the peel would set up the dehydration facility in Argentina. So it was decided to set up a pilot facility working with Obispo Colombres to analyze technical issues and be able to produce later on pectine at an industrial scale. In Tucumán in 2017, we signed an agreement with the experimental station, and we began to work on this project, on this pilot. We bought some pieces of equipment, we set up a lab, and this is the process. We start with extracting pectine with lemon peels, water, and reagent to extract the pectine in the peel. We set apart the fiber, we condition it, and we concentrate it. The water we recover from the concentration is used again in the extraction process. After that, we have a precipitation stage. And here is the technology challenge, the biggest challenge, recovering the agents used. Together with Obispo Colombres, during this research at COTA, we were lucky to find a company that buys or uses pectine, and they were solubilizing it before using it. And when we realized that we were at this stage, we said, well, they are using the same we have, or they are using the product we have now at this stage. So we started working with this company and to use, and our pectine began to be used for a marmalade manufacturing, jam. So after this, we need precipitation, drying, and crushing the process to get powder pectine. But we were able to develop a product that is a concentrate. This concentrate can be used in Argentina. It uses quite a bit of water and would be important to reduce the amount of water, but we have a product which, well, this is the product, a concentrate of liquid pectine, which is quite, which is not thin at all, and you may make jams, and in this case, well, you can see the different kind of jams. It's a solid one, actually. This product has helped us to, has helped Argentina to replace imports. Last year, when there were issues with imports, we speeded up our tests with the company we're working with, and we started selling the pectine this year. These are other benefits we get from pectine. And the citrus fruit industry, it's a seasonal industry. In 5 or 6 months, we manufacture and we process all the byproducts, and after that, well, Some workers get jobless, but with this new approach, we are able to use the resources and infrastructure throughout the year. And there is also an improvement. Obispo Columbus was always focusing on producing pectin using wet peels so as to reduce the cost and the emissions produced by the drying process. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miguel. You several times mentioned the Colombres test station, and I would like to underscore, because I have been there several times, meeting with its directors. I would like to speak about the excellent relationship between the test station and the various production areas in the province of Tucumán. Even though it is a provincial institution, the board of directors is formed by people from the private sector, which sets the lines of work. I would like to underscore and ask you about the number of employees. It's 140 people who have a direct job, plus the other activities. I understand, based on my visits, that the power supply is an ever-growing problem in the citrus fruit industry. There is sufficient energy supply, but in turn our energy matrix is very poor. That is based on hydrocarbons, and this is affecting the citrus fruit industry in general. Do you have anything to say about this? Well, for the first time, we had restricted gas supply. We are natural gas dependent. The peel drying process involves the use of natural gas. These products, the energy supply situation may be reverted because of the northern gas line, which is being revisited. But in the northeast of Argentina, they can concentrate juices. They do not dry the peel, but concentrate juices from steam boilers that are biomass fed. Being able to produce pectin locally may give us a competitive advantage. That is putting an end to the dependence on natural gas. Well, thanks very much, Miguel. Thanks to you. And now, let's listen to a representative from the northeastern part of Argentina. We're going to talk about the forestry industry. We relate it directly to wood-making products, but from trees, it is also possible to obtain many other different products. Energy, cellulose for the paper-making industry. There are many more products that are very useful for the various industries that are obtained from trees. That's why I would like to welcome Ariel López Mato, who's going to talk about UNITAN, the company he leads. Thanks very much. Good morning. Good afternoon, rather. And let's talk briefly about this process, which we have integrated from an industry that may be of interest to you. We have seen 3 wonderful examples, and as it has already been made clear, every action we take has an impact. We may either remain inactive, become apocalyptic, or start attacking museum pictures, as some do. But none of that will provide energy development opportunities or food to 8 billion people. It is highly necessary that we share our experiences, our actual experiences, to improve processes and look for new alternatives. Why is that necessary? Because there is no roadmap, actually. As you can see, each and every of us has, with its ups and downs and bumps, found its way to try and call ourselves a bioeconomy or something like that. Let me allow for the simplification. Bioeconomics is like going on a diet. Much has been written, many things are contradictory, but at the end of the day, you have to find the one that suits you best. You have to start sort of setting up a clock. Based on this, everything may sound logical. We have done this and that. It's like following a cooking recipe, but that's not the case. This clock, which appears to be working, has a lot of loose parts at the beginning, and you have to try and see how to make them work. That's the biggest challenge we have all had and still have, and will continue to have. Pablo has given us 10 minutes to speak about our achievements. I would have needed 45 to tell you about our errors, actually. Looking for a plus to primary production involves not only developing processes such as COTA, Dervinsa, or the design of sea organs from scratch, which, by the way, are very tasty, but rather investigate applications to add value to what we obtain. I mean, we obtain all of these active ingredients, but what do we do with them? Who do we sell them to? What industry shall they help? What or who do they benefit? So we start with animal feed, dietary supplements, and so on and so forth. UNITAN produces vegetable extracts. They are water-based, and they are used in a variety of industries. We are industry suppliers. The leather industry is the most traditional one, but even more so, animal feed as an antioxidant, enology, the famous wine tannins come from what we produce, additives for the cardboard industry, clarification for the sugar industry, natural dyes, wool, silk, etc. Our plants have incorporated improvements to make the most of biomass wastes. These allowed us to obtain energy self-supply and deliver renewable energy to the network thanks to a 60-atmosphere boiler and a 9-megawatt turbine. We do not fossil fuel consumption at our plants. All of the process, whether it is industrial or by generation, is fed by biomass. We deliver energy to the grid, and water is recycled and reused. In turn, for many years now, we have started with a forestation project on 2,500 hectares that were certified with Embera, the most demanding carbon bond organization in the world. We certify the number of tons, and this involved a 30-year commitment to maintain the plantation for 30 years. That's what in the jargon is called nature-based solutions. There are many ways to obtain carbon bonds. This is what we call a nature-based solution, which is forestation. This forestation has been coupled by or with other activities. This is what we have today. Over 3 million trees have already been planted, plus the periphery through tree enrichment. These forestry activities have become integrated with others with a dual objective, an economic and an environmental one. Amongst the trees, we have planted alfalfa and vija to produce fodder. All that has been improved. Now what we do is first plant alfalfa and the other product, and in the lines, every 4 meters, we plant the trees so that we nitrogenate the soil avoid double tilling, and we improve the soil, opening up the land with these grassy weeds. So these are different things that have allowed us to work better. This has been published everywhere. We were the first Argentinian company to certify carbon bonds with native species. And this coming spring, we are going to start with a project to have a CCB certification, which is climate, community, and biodiversity. We have already measured this. We are taking up the second forestry inventory. And we have also incorporated a division which we call natural specialties, which extracts natural active ingredients from manifold wastes and raw materials, as others do. But to obtain these active principles, which may be used in natural dyes, say for textiles, to prevent the use of other artificial dyes, for cosmetics industry, supplementary diets. We process olive tree, eucalyptus leaves, nut and fruit peels, and other herbs. We want to increase the variety, but each species and project we undertake involves studying the applications and benefits we will have for some applications in particular. This is the system we used, which involves the production of biomass, food for sawmills, fodder, agriculture. This is everything we integrate in the project for this year, which we are starting this year, which is the climate, community, and biodiversity. We are incorporating native species such as urundai and others, which in turn will provide us with other active ingredients and will allow us to engage in other activities. In this in-between rows planting system we have implemented, in addition to fodder, we want to add other species such as guava and others, in order to perform aeronautical fuel, aviation fuel. Also, it is important to speak of recyclables. We were speaking to an expert who told us that only 7% of the plastics may be reused. Everyone speaks about reused plastics, but the reality is that part of it always ends up being burned, and the rest is left in our planet. We have an agreement with producers who recycle all the plastics we generate. We provide them to them, and they generate objects from that. In the case of ashes, we have talked to different municipalities to stabilize road surfaces. And interestingly enough, there are people who are using it to neutralize pH in different crops. We are starting to use it in our own plantations, and also we are providing it to other people so that they may use it in their crops and improve soil pH. These are all of the pieces of the puzzle that we have tried to integrate. Once this is properly set up, we will have what we have: sustainability plus profitability. That is, we always serve a dual purpose. Sustainability is very nice, but if you do not have profitability behind, it's ephemeral. It will last just a while, and it becomes evaporated. So the idea is to set this up in order to make it sustainable throughout time based on a given return on the investment and on delivering value to the various industries, activities that you may interact with. Perfect. Very well then. Thanks very much, Ariel. I believe that it's been an excellent presentation to close this panel. You put the focus on environmental sustainability and how all these aims, as you very well say, to obtaining not only a benefit for the planet, but for the company as well, which will have to wait for 30 years before obtaining the carbon credit, the carbon that was captured along so many years. The inventory, as you show it and you report it, it releases bonds based on what you have reported in terms of carbon fixation. We are, we may speak more or less authoritatively about this because we are the first to have certified. And let's have it clear that it is a system that first you have to approve, and then the bond will be issued. It is very good, it helps you, but you first have to prove that you have certified. You first have to prove. We first have to take up an inventory with an expert, then comes an auditor. First was a Spanish auditor, now a German or Colombian company will perform the audit. They will audit us, then they report on us, and only after that they will indicate that they have credited a given number of carbon bonds. Thanks very much, Ariel. And now we are going to entertain one question, a very specific targeted question, one for each of the companies, because we are running out of time. So let's go back to Tamara and the other speakers. Any question for them? Speak out, please, or else please ask for the mic. No questions? Dervinza, Roland, which has generated so many products. There's a question there, yes. Good morning. All the talks are very interesting. Miguel, is there any possibility of using biomass? Any possibility of using biomass from wood chips and pruning wastes? Well, from COTA, we have participated in the project and the study conducted by the test station. They analyzed different plantations, the pruning and the removal of plants. They have measured the heating power of the various parts in the plant, and that is being led by the test station. This is an agreement that should be performed by all citrus food producers. We are an industry. On my part, I have talked at some point with a company that engages in setting up biomass companies for power delivery to the grid. This is something that we have to do as an industry. The biomass balance in the province is insufficient, nonetheless, to feed the citrus fruit industry, which is so much energy demanding. At least in the study done at Pro Biomass a few years ago, I don't think that has changed that much. We need to find yet another solution as to how to obtain energy from biomass. That's why it was very important for us to take part in the energy efficiency network that was led by the Energy Secretariat and the European Union. First, because it is important to know how you use energy, what you use energy for, and be as effective and efficient as possible to then find the appropriate energy sources. Thanks. One question for Tamara. The I mean, is there anywhere else in the world where zircons are produced as a pilot or as an industrial project as we are doing? No. There are many attempts to raise zircons for food, but this has not been financially sustainable. Another question, Fernando? Any question? There, yes. I have a question for Roland. I came back from Mendoza. I was there between Monday and Thursday. It's always nice to be there. And I talked to many farmers, wineries, talking about water production, especially in relation to use of water. And you are in the same production chain because you are taking the product delivered by wineries. Oftentimes, the winemaking industry is said to be plummeting. So what about making greater use of the product, grapes, I mean, to add value and promote wine production and add value to the farmer? And since many of the products are being exported, what happens with the demand for products? These measurements and these measurements for sustainability that might affect the farmer, how might they affect it? How could we encourage the farmer to make a more efficient use of water or measure carbon emissions? Well, you have touched upon every aspect that is relevant for winemaking in just one question. Indeed, Mendoza is a desert area. Water scarcity is very relevant. As you have said, Mendoza is assessing the new water code, which was enacted prior to the constitution in the province. This is one of the oldest legislations in Argentina. They are currently assessing how it works. An additional term has been provided until 15 October, which I personally believe is very good because this will allow every party that has a say in the water sector to, well, speak out. They are doing a very good job, and there are a number of players who are working together to make the most of water. Then you touched upon the drop in volume production, in wine production. Only last year, the planted area went down by 3.1%. The planted area competes with real estate projects, with vegetable growing. So, of course, they have to find or try to derive the most value from the land. Since we are working with small pomace volumes and range from one grape type to another, the pomace volume is reduced. So the industry is becoming more of a value-added value-added industry. So this forces us to look for other biomass. And importantly to note is that we process some 200,000 tons of biomass in Dervinsa. Argentina has 45 million tons of second-generation biomass. The challenge is huge. This biomass is available almost for free. Man has been very witty in finding or developing the first use for everything that is done, but not for the byproducts or second uses. We know that the wine industry will shrink, volumes will shrink. It's only natural that the world evolves, but we believe that availability of other sources of biomass is an endless challenge. I don't know if I've missed anything of your question about indicators and indicator measurement.
What we do, we gather all these byproducts, and if we want to say that we make a contribution to sustainability in the wine chain, we have to measure. If we cannot measure something, it's useless. You cannot improve what you are not measuring. So we are measuring the carbon footprint in the whole wine production process. So when a winery comes and tells me, I gave you 10,000 tons of pumice, this was the impact in water footprint and carbon footprint terms. And this information will be part of their story telling. It's not so easy because we could have made this in a simpler fashion, but we wanted to do it the right way. The logistics element is so important in our process that the carbon footprint is actually large. We have already started working on this. Well, I believe time is up, so I'd like to thank the members of the panel. Thank you. You have shared excellent presentations with us, and I'd like to say that we are part of the Aapresid Congress, and the main participants at this Congress produce biomass, and it's very important to turn this biomass into something else. I'd like to stress the important role bio-industries play for the development of Argentina, not only in producing higher added value products, but because of all the ancillary processes. Because when you set up an industry, there are many cases of this in Argentina, when you set up an industry, many positive externalities are created. New services related to the vendors for that industry or those industries, but also services that call for human resources, building of housing, the relocation of professionals or university graduates in inland Argentina, so that we may reverse this trend, this urbanization trend, that is to sort of reverse migrations towards large cities. This is happening not only in Argentina, but throughout Latin America, and usually it just creates more poverty, more issues, and I believe that bioindustries, especially because they are usually located in rural areas, and there are cities where there is no unemployment, there are good quality jobs like Rafaela, Rio Cuarto, Mendoza. We have many examples that show that after the primary production, which is, of course, key, when on top of this, bioindustry is developed, this virtuous cycle is completed, and we are overcoming, we're getting to a better stage, to a better scenario. This is all, and thank you very much for attending the Aapresid Congress.